kind of super app for women's health.
Not mercenaries, but missionaries are very successful in the business.
We even see FLO as some kind of, 360 degrees women's health coach.
I think that at the end of the day we will have all significant features and content to serve needs around female health and well-being.
Privacy and security is the main issue in this kind of industry.
Being attacked all time by dozens of venture capital firms, and you just don't need such money.
Dear friends, welcome to the second Changer ScaleUP show. I'm sure each of you would like to grow your company to the level of $1 billion venture. We're here in Minsk, Belarus. Today we're visiting a company that has every chance of doing that. These guys have put health and wellness at users' fingertips in digital form. We're meeting an extremely promising startup, FLO. Let's go! Let me introduce our mentors, Dmitry Volkov, a prominent internet entrepreneur, a dating business guru and an investor in Bitfury, Shazam and, by the way, FLO. Dmitry Laush and Alexander Tsikhilov, founders of the blockchain ecosystem Vorld and currency trading platform Admiral Markets. They'll join us to break down FLO's business model and show you how to make your business a unicorn. We're here with Dmitry Gursky, a remarkable person who is offering digital solutions to empower women to improve their health. Let's take a look at how he decided to do this. Dmitry is also the person who took part in such projects as Masquerade, which was later sold to Facebook, and AI Matter, another project that was acquired by Google. Google and Facebook. Isn't it cool? Let's meet Dmitry. Hello, nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Team of 160 superstars.
And it's naturally motivate the team to create the best product.
Dmitry, you are a tech guy in the industry which to date has been very male-dominated one. So how did you decide to enter such a specific female niche?
Founders of our company have had experience in health and fitness segments, and my brother had been running a sport company almost 10 years ago, and at this time it had been one of the world leaders in health and fitness segment. And this company was acquired in 2012, and we started to think about how to use our experience and create something new and big. And we noticed quite weird situation at the market of female apps, because it was full of very simple pink calendars with the quality which was much lower than in other segments of health and fitness segments. And simultaneously these apps had tons of downloads, like millions and millions downloads per month. And we decided to create something better for this underserved market, because it was quite big but simultaneously absolutely underserved. It means that the quality of products was very low, and it was quite big opportunity to pursue, and because of that we started FLO. And I think that the main reason why this weird situation existed and still exists was based on absence of ability of men to understand this segment. It was so far from men experience and men problems that just nobody decided to create such startup, and it was like a vicious cycle. No startups, no investments, no big companies, no exits, no benchmarks, and no motivation to create new company. Classical vicious cycle.
Yeah, and to add to that, I would say that even now the area of women's health is underappreciated and underserved. And that would be great if there were more women like founders and more women investors, yeah, because to understand the specific needs of women, well, it's easier to, as of a woman, to understand women's needs. However, the founders of FLO were really wise and they did lots of tests to understand audience, and they were coming from the audience, and that was one of the reasons they succeeded. And that's why they were not coming from their own, intentions. Very often there is, it happens very often to marketeers when they are applying their own needs and necessities. How would I want to use this product? Which need do I have? Well, men, in this specific case, they did not have such understanding. That's why they were asking potential users, right? They were doing hundreds and thousands of tests. And that basically led the product to the point when it was specifically answering the needs of large, big number of women. Yeah, that's why it became so popular.
I think FLO has a nice and huge potential worldwide. They already have a lot of users through the women, and they're actually solving the biggest problem of women. So in this case, their potential could grow even 5 or 10 times in a year. People more and more used to thinking about their health. And of course, pregnancy problems, problems with menstruation, it's a bigger issue.
For half of the population, world's global population, it is indeed a very important issue. It affects their lifestyle, it affects their health. I think FLO utilizes very efficiently the artificial intelligence and data science, because about 30% of women don't have regular cycle, and indeed it's an issue.
So let's try to give a short explanation of what FLO is.
FLO is a quite sophisticated product. It's not just a period tracker. Of course, period tracker is the most important part of product, because it's like an engine of retention and engine of growth of all ecosystem of products we call FLO. But besides period tracker, we have a big medical part. It's fit with health advices and different health content, a chatbot, health assistant, anonymous female community where women are able to discuss anonymously and discreetly different sensitive topics, different trackers, like for example water consumption tracker. And also we have special modes for all stages of female life, starting from special mode for teenagers, and then mode of tracking cycle, then fertility modes, and pregnancy modes, and postpartum mode. And currently we consider to create perimenopause and menopause modes. And our idea is that our product is serving women in alignment with changes in their life. It means that user potentially may use our product for dozens of years, just changing modes in our product.
For a young woman who is 20 or 25, I guess maybe the main issue would be not to get pregnant. So they're interested in watching their ovulation, and that's what the program can do. It can tell them when it's dangerous to have sex, open sex, and when it's relatively safe. Maybe at the age of 25, 30, or 35, the concerns are different. It's the opposite. It's how to get pregnant.
We even see FLO as some kind of, 360 degrees women's health coach. Yeah, so as Dmitry said, there is an axis of the age. Yeah, so it's kind of a one-stop solution. And on the other side, there is another axis that's about the different needs that FLO helps women to satisfy, the problems that FLO helps women to solve. It's about not only like tracking the cycle, but also to understand the meaning of their body signals, to communicate their necessity to identify if there is increased risk for certain conditions, right? So it's about some kind of the comprehensive approach for women's health.
So it's kind of super app for women's health a la Google Suite?
It's quite similar with Google Suite in some sense, but maybe the closest analog, closest benchmark for our product is Chinese female super app Miu, or Chinese female super app Daima, and I can't find something very similar to FLO at the Western market. Maybe modern Facebook or modern Uber also use the same strategy of super app, or more old term for the same strategy is a closed platform or walled garden. Yeah, and idea of the strategy closed platform or walled garden is to provide for your users like all necessary experience in one field. It means that users start to use such product because of one feature, for example, period tracker, but then they are able to use another features around female health. For example, I even consider that in future we will have something like weight losing features, or maybe even something around mindfulness and meditation. And I think that at the end of the day, we will have all significant features and content to serve needs around female health and well-being.
And how do you create content for the FLO, and how do you ensure that it's scientifically sound?
For us, because we are given advices about health and well-being, is very significant to be absolutely medical and scientifically trustworthy. And to ensure that we are absolutely scientifically trustworthy product, we create all our content inside our team. We have quite big medical team inside our company, and also we have a medical board which consists of 40 professors from United States and Western Europe, and medical board is checking all content which was created by our medical team. And because of that, I'm quite sure that the quality of our content is extremely high.
So basically there are three levels of like check of our content. Yeah, so like in-house medical doctors, US and European editors, and also the doctors from the medical board, right? So the professors from Yale, Harvard, Oxford, like just name it, yeah, different kinds of universities. And moreover, we have the content partnership with international organizations such as United Nations Population Fund, European Board and College for Obstetrics and Gynecology, that help us to develop the medical materials that are in line with the most like up-to-date trends in medicine and science.
This allows the app to collect a lot of data that will help a woman to make important decisions, whether they have to consult a doctor at a certain point, whether they have to make certain changes in their diet, whether to train more or train less.
A very nice example of diversification of the ecosystem has a GLOW. So GLOW coming from US, from PayPal founders. And they are actually have partnerships with all this healthcare, medicine and hospitals. and they're gathering all this information from women and then sending to the doctors. So I think it could be a nice feature for FLO in the future, especially when they are trying to use artificial intelligence.
Actually, blockchain technology is not applicable to any project we can see. And I think that's unfortunately exactly this project, FLO, is not a good case to apply blockchain for this project. I think that blockchain technology is very perspective, but it is still not ready to manage so huge data which used by this FLO application. And it would be impossible to use artificial intelligence to manage distributed data, which is should be stored in decentralized way in blockchain technology.
I would really like to point out the marketing and promotional efforts you put into your product, into brand awareness. And I know that famous Natalia Vodianova is your brand ambassador. Could you please tell us what's the most FLOs effective marketing channel?
I'm absolutely sure that the best marketing is the product itself, and best products sell itself. It means that in case of FLO, we have never spent significant efforts or significant money to grow our product, and we all time spend all possible resources, and we have very narrow focus on creating the best product, and it grew itself. And as evidence of that, for example, approximately 50% of our audience we got just organically because of search in App Store, but almost 40% of our audience we got because of word of mouth, because of advices of other people. And we know exactly this number. We did special survey for our audience and asked about the way how they became users of FLO. And so big number of users who became our customers, our users, because of advice of peers is a result of very good quality of our product.
So as far as I understand, the developers try to use organic growth in the development and not to pay serious attention to PR or payment advertising. I think that's a reasonable way, but if they would like to have much more extent of scalability, they should pay additional attention and to PR and payment advertising as well.
They have a lot of articles from their clients, and most of them have a positive reviews in their apps. And I think this is like a kind of positive moment where they can get free of charge a kind of marketing from potential new users also.
Our marketing strategy is about nurturing our users, nurturing our current users, right? So people start using product for a purpose, and our aim is to help them solve their need and understand that they've solved their need. And as Dmitry said, people are starting using our product based on the recommendations of friends or relatives. So the better we work with the current users, the more of the new users and the more loyal users we have. And currently, marketing is no longer about a funnel-based approach, right? So it's no longer linear, and it's the very long-term relationship with your users. And very important it is to communicate as the product what you stand for. What's your goal? What's your mission? Because now when people are starting using the product, they perceive you as, they add you to their own brand story. So for them, it's very important to understand who you are as the product. So for us, it's very important to communicate to have the advocacy programs where we communicate who we are, what FLO stands for. And as you've mentioned, Natalia Vadianova, very soon we are launching the fundraising campaign to serve the girls in India. The campaign is aimed at solving their period poverty problem. So unfortunately, the majority of girls in the rural India don't use their regular menstrual health products. They use ash, hay, newspapers, plastic. Yeah. So and there is a lot of stigma and taboos around menstruation. So we decided to find the right partners, and we partnered with NGO, with their innovation charity platform owned by Natalia, and P&G, Procter & Gamble, and we are on a mission to help the girls of India get access to education about menstruation, what it is, and help them get their good products so that they can, sustain their health, not to drop out of school, because millions of girls are dropping out of school in India when they reach puberty. So getting back to your questions, I'm sorry I was a little bit wordy. Our marketing is about product and nurturing subscribers and users, and also about communicating what we stand for as a product. Yeah, so that it's not only about their commodity, it's also about values.
Big team absolutely inevitably would lead to bureaucracy.
Well, let's talk about the team. You currently have a team of 160 superstars. And how many employees did you have at the very beginning?
We started FLO 4 years ago, and our team was really small, maybe 5 employees, including 3 co-founders, and all people are still working in our company. And I don't consider that as a big disadvantage, because at the very beginning of almost each product, you have to understand product market fit, and you don't need many people for that.
Almost all your employees are here in Minsk. Why is that so? And if it's possible to ask, what are the monthly costs of having this team here?
There are several reasons behind such strategy. Honestly, Minsk is not the cheapest place to have a team of developers. Currently, maybe it's even more expensive than to have the same team in Moscow. And but of course, it's much cheaper than to have the same team in United States, and especially in Silicon Valley. But the main reason is not just costs, it's ability to hire talents. I'm absolutely sure that the main reason of success of each product company is quality of people you are able to hire in your team. And here in Belarus we have quite good labor pool to hire talents to our team, and we relocate a lot of people. And it's the main reason. And I'm quite sure that we would have much lower chances to hire the same team being in Europe or in United States. And it's quite costly. Currently we spend just for salaries more than $500,000 per month.
How did you make this rapid leap from 5 to 160 employees?
Honestly, I don't think that it was a very speedy leap, because we have spent 4 years to reach such a number, and I don't think that number of people in team is something to be proud of. I think that you have to have as small team as necessary to reach your goals, and I would be proud to reach valuation of 1 billion or more, and to be able to improve health of 100 millions of women, having as small team as possible, because big team absolutely inevitably would lead to bureaucracy and inefficiency, politics, and I don't think that to have very big team is advantage.
Could you please share some secrets with our followers who might be thinking of developing different types of mobile applications? Maybe top 3 of yours or your company do's.
Okay, I will share several principles I use to create our companies. Maybe the most significant is to focus on real needs of your users and customers. Very often, founders of a company consider that they know all answers and all needs just because of own vision and experience. And it's very often a reason to fail. It's necessary to listen, to talk with your customers, understand metrics, and to build a product which really work to solve some users' pains. The second advice would be to stay ever humble. I think that the main reason of failure is the absence of humility. It means that when people become full of arrogance and complacency, they start to make decisions wrongly, just because nobody can understand everything, and some level of humility is necessary to stay relevant of reality. And the third advice maybe would be the next. When you're planning something, you should be very over-optimistic in your long-term vision and quite pessimistic, even paranoid in your short-term planning.
So we had 3 do's, and maybe you can give us some 3 don'ts.
I'm absolutely sure that the team is the most significant reason of your success or failure. And because of that, you should never pull down the bar in hiring. It means that you should hire just the best people and try to hold, motivate, and build from these materials a really good team. Also, I would advise never do something in conflict of your conscience. Because the reputation is the single asset which is very easy to destroy, but almost impossible to build again. And the third one, never delude yourself and never lie to yourself, especially when things is going not so good, because very often people are creating a too bright picture of reality to themselves, and because of that they are not in time in proper decisions which might be not pleasant, and they hesitate to do such decisions. You shouldn't delude yourself. One way to monetize our product.
Well, you have raised about 20 millions to date. Well, let's talk money. I know that you have like 30 million active users monthly for now. What is your monetization strategy, and how did you start, and how it's going on for now?
We started our monetization approximately 1 year ago, and it was absolutely conscious decision. We were delaying our monetization for 3 years because we had an idea that early start monetization would harm the product. And currently we have just one way to monetize our product is a paid subscription, premium. And I think that is the most honest type of monetization, because it's a single way of monetization which motivate naturally the team to create the best product, because in case of premium subscription, users continue to pay just in case of deep satisfaction by the product, in case of real value. And to have such retention of payments is necessary to create such value, and it's naturally motivate the team to create the best product. And for example, as comparison, in case of monetization by advertising, the team would be motivated to make a session longer, to increase duration of session, and to put different clickbait stuff inside our feed, like videos with cats. And of course, it would not work good for our mission.
Well, you have raised about 20 millions to date. Tell us about your investors, please.
When you have gotten first metrics, first revenue, a lot of venture capital firms would want to invest to your company, but very often you don't need money at this stage, and it's like some type of conflict in that, and there is no something average. You are trying desperately to raise money and nobody give you this money, and or you are being attacked all time by dozens of venture capital firms, and you just don't need such money. And we were in both positions. And at the very beginning of our company, it was quite difficult to raise capital, but we were quite lucky, because at this stage, venture capital investors mostly invest not to the project, but to the team. And because of our previous track record, several exits and successful companies, it was not very difficult for us to raise our first capital maybe half of a year after launching of our product. And our first investors was Flynn Capital and several angel investors, for example, founders of FLO. And then, like based on our success, it was becoming easier and easier to raise capital, and currently I'm receiving like proposals from different venture capital firms from United States and Europe almost each day, and I received maybe 100 of such letters last year, but currently we just don't need money, and we are not pursuing such opportunity.
What kind of investors are you interested in? Tell us profile for people who you are searching for. For example, I'm a small business angel or small typical investor. How can I participate in investing at your company?
Always taking money is opportunity to take something you don't currently have, like connections, network, expertise, something you can't pay for. And for us, there is just one case in which we would contemplate to take money of a private investor. Is the ability of this investor to share with us something we don't currently have, like unique expertise, unique networking, some significant commitment. And if you propose something interesting to us, we would definitely consider such opportunity.
What is your valuation right now?
We don't know our current valuation, because to prove valuation is necessary to raise money. And our previous round was 1 year ago, and currently we know just our valuation, which was proved 1 year ago. And to really understand fair valuation is necessary to go to the market, talk with different investors, take several term sheets, and it would be evidence of our valuation.
I'm a little bit confused. You mentioned a year ago investment, but I've read titles maybe a few months ago, and then were some other titles that were saying that you are like raising this investment from the same group of investors.
It was the same round. We decided to divide this investment on two portions.
And it started a year ago.
Yes, and it was the same A round, and it was divided on two portions, and it was just the second part of the same round.
So evaluation last year was
$230 million post money.
Do you see your business reaching a billion evaluation? How long will it take?
Of course, it's absolutely possible for us, and it's our goal to reach such valuation, and it's quite good understandable how to reach such valuation. Approximately, it's necessary to have, as a current market, maybe $100 million of annual revenue. And I think it will take 2 or 3 years for us to reach such revenue, and simultaneously it will let us to valuation more than $1 billion.
Well, 2 or 3 years, and what is your exit strategy? Have you got one?
We don't have exact exit strategy. We're not planning to sell FLO, and it's connected with our personal mission. I think that it's one per life opportunity to be able to create such company which is a leader of market and have impact on health of dozens or even hundreds of millions of women. And we are planning to stay with this company for at least 10 years, and maybe we will have IPO, but we will definitely not planning. We are not planning to sell this company in form of M&A.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, I think that the app will be covering the entire world. I think it's about 3 billion addressable market. It's a great market. I've listened to one of the interviews with Bezos, who said not mercenaries, but missionaries are very successful in the business. And I very much agree with that. So I think of the guys who are the team, who are the core of this company, can see themselves as missionaries rather than mercenaries. This product will become really big.